to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the War Room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
Here we are tucked away in the war room on this Saturday evening, the first full weekend of fall. And to Saturday, it's, God, what is this? It's like 80-something degrees out there today.
Yeah, 80-something degrees.
Hang on, I screwed that all up because I need to say we are tucked away in the war room in the west end of the Magic Valley, somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. That's getting worse and worse.
You'll have to write it down on a cue card.
I'm going to do something. I need to just pre-record it.
Stencil it on your wall.
Yeah, I need to pre-record it. I need to add it to the intro music.
There you go.
That's what I need to do. But anyhow, it's good to be here. I'm a little tired today. I'm a little wore out. I'm feeling a little, not that I've ever drank, but I feel like I'm a little hungover. But anyhow, I'm here, and Josh, whatever?
Toews.
Toews, spelled Toews. Okay, Josh Toews is here. He helped me out in my class today. Say hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Yeah, you sound like Dean. You're filling in for Dean. So you helped me out with a class today.
Yeah.
What did you took my class? How many years ago was it?
Oh boy, 4 years.
4 years.
A little better than 4 years, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about yourself, background, what you do, what you used to do. Just tell us something about yourself.
All right. Well, I lived in Spokane, Washington for 35 years. I worked for a armored car and security service up there. Worked as vault supervisor, route personnel, helped firearms instruction, everything.
You drove an armored car?
Yeah.
Did you get to drive it fast?
They weren't fast.
They weren't.
They weren't fast at all.
So did you ever have to outrun anyone? Did you ever get attacked? I mean, we got some cool war stories here. I see movies about that stuff. Did you and your buddies heist one or something?
No. They're so stinking traceable. I mean, 14 tons of...
That's not what they show me in the movies.
Well, yeah, but they also show you getting shot with a 22 blowing back 10 feet and...
Well, that's, yeah. Okay, nothing exciting. What do you carry?
I carry Glocks.
I'm sorry. Sorry to hear it.
I'm not. HK guys grow up and carry Glocks.
Hey, you brought a really fancy Glock in here today.
I did.
I don't know what's going on with Facebook Live, but we're really not popular today.
Apparently not.
I mean, it's like we're 4 minutes in and we don't have any views yet.
Well, my phone just alerted me we were live.
Well, at least I know it's freaking working. So, do you have that gun? Can you grab it?
Yeah. Let me pull it out of here.
We'll grab it here. We can show the camera for anyone who might eventually watch this video. I think they've all given up on Facebook Live, to be 100% honest with you. They don't like it. But Josh ended up with, what is it, a 30... What gun is that?
Glock 34.
Glock 34. It's about the prettiest thing you'll ever see.
That's all your taste is in your mouth.
Yeah, it is a horrific looking firearm. And you picked it up for a steal.
Yes.
It's a Gen 3.
Gen 3 Glock 34.
It's got some horrifying looking sights on it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold it over here. Sights on it. But it is, they're expensive sights. It is, someone has painted with looks like a Q-tip, brown on this. This is an ugly Glock.
It's glossy baby poop brown.
But the most intriguing part of it is, and I'll hold it up to the camera. The most intriguing part is it's got the word the name Nutnfancy 2015 engraved onto the slide.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Nutnfancy, I don't even know if it's one of his guns, but Nutnfancy he's on Facebook, he's on YouTube, had his YouTube channel for a long time, and did gun reviews and all kinds of stuff on Facebook and or on YouTube. So we just found him on Facebook. We sent him a picture of this to see if it was actually one of his guns. It's just interesting someone would write that on there, engrave, not just write, engrave that onto the side of that firearm. So anyhow, I don't know. It's kind of just a ridiculous gun, super long barrel. You got it for like $300.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
I got it for a steal, so, nothing else I can turn and, clean it up and Cerakote it and flip it and probably get close to twice that.
You can't beat that. So, so you helped me with the class today. What did you think about that?
It was a really smooth class.
It was.
Even the shooters who flat out said at the very beginning, I've never shot before. I'm brand new to this.
Surprisingly, they did great.
Yeah.
I was a little worried, to be honest with you.
There's the two people that I think were most worried about how they were going to do, or actually did phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
The older gal with the 22.
Yep.
She was on paper the entire class.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, they all were. There was a gal, and I won't say her name yet, but she was in that class, and she came to the class on her own decision. Mm-hmm. So her husband's not into firearms, doesn't do any of that. Was kind of nervous, didn't even really want them in the house. But she decided this is something that she needed to do for her and her kids, needed to protect herself. And so she took it up on herself to come to the class, to want to get her permit. And she came in with a G19, a new G19. It was in that cool Glock, that gray color.
That was a good-looking gun.
Yeah, it was a good-looking gun. And she, I asked her, I said, well, your husband doesn't do guns. You don't really hang out with people who do guns. How did you know what to buy? What made you choose a Glock? And she said she just went and talked to her neighbors. And so she's taking this all on her own. And she was actually shot really well.
Really well. And handled the gun really proficiently.
Right. So I would like to try and get her, I talked to her. I'm going to try to get her on the podcast sometime hopefully in the next week or two. And get something set up with her to come down and kind of tell her story, because it's not, you don't always come up with a female, a woman who wants to do this, whose husband isn't interested in it, who doesn't want to do it. She took this, her husband kind of said, I won't say he said no, but he was not thrilled by the idea, but she decided to do it anyway. So I think that's a pretty neat story, really. And I'd like to follow her and her journey forward. In fact, I may talk to her about multiple podcast episodes. It'd be really cool to see what her thoughts on the class were.
Yeah, that'd be really good. She was really, really good.
Yeah, she was. I was pleasantly surprised. Hey, Trevor, we got someone on Facebook.
We do.
Mr. Trevor.
I
talked to your wife on Friday, actually. Tell her I said hi. How you doing, Trevor? His wife works at the radio station that I do my show at. So cool. But anyhow, so this is your first class you helped us with, because you and me may have a future doing something together.
Possibly, right? Yeah.
He's Josh is from the Boise area, and Patriot Defense may end up there sooner or later. I don't know when. I got to be a lot more comfortable with the idea. Not that I'm not comfortable with Josh running a class. It's my baby. It's like sending one of my children out there. So anyhow, that's my hurdle I have to get over. But you helped with the class. Overall, this one went pretty smooth. But a lot of times you can do one of these classes if you're not used to it. Like when I do these classes, I'm mentally drained. After the class, I'm not tired. Mentally, I am shot.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know. And I've stated it on the show before, but you all those people, and you got people handling firearms and new people, and it's just you're on high alert for
you are
for 3 hours or whatever it takes to do the shooting portion. You are on high alert non-stop.
Yeah,
everyone's lives are in your hands.
Yeah. Your peak of your mental alertness, and you're trying to watch, 6-7 people all at the same time, and make sure everything's going right. But I understand exactly what you're saying. We'd run into that at the up there at Armor Car Service a lot. We'd, you driving those things and everything, you're constantly watching everything.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just a drain on you.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow, I'm glad you picked a good one. It was a pretty easygoing class, and the weather was beautiful.
Oh, it was great.
Weather, like no wind. It started off pretty chilly in the morning. I think when the sun came out toward the end, I think we were probably pushing 80, 81.
We're getting there.
I really think it was in the 70s most of the day.
Yeah.
It was just just beautiful.
It was
beautiful weather, and there was I didn't get the entire class here because some of them, they had family problems or whatever. They couldn't make it. No problem. But I had about 17 people here. So it was a pretty good class.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll continue to get busy as the winter progresses. I get busy over the winter. It's kind of crazy how that works. But glad it's over. I'm tired and I'm hungry. Yeah. And I'm ready to do this podcast. So,
yeah.
We were toying around with a gentleman on Facebook, you and me, on Friday.
Yes, we were.
And I invited this gentleman. I won't give his name. He's not local. I don't think he's local anyway. I think I checked out his Facebook, and he's from some other state. And I think he probably knows me via the podcast. But anyhow, I offered to have him. He was disagreeing on some stuff with me, and I offered to have him call into the podcast. And I figured it'd make for a good discussion. And yeah, he never called in. So, in fact, he never posted on Facebook again after I asked him to call in. So, I'm not gonna stomp on the guy or anything like that. But I'll let you tell us a little bit about the discussion. Do you remember any of it? Where we're going with it?
Yeah, we were. It was kind of basically a discussion on calibers. It was a posting about differences in calibers, and I posted. I think I was one of the first posters on there. Said anyone can shoot 9mm better.
Right.
And he responded with a laughing face, and then went on to explain that the reason, or that you can't you shoot larger calibers better. That you get sloppier with the 9mm because you have more bullets.
Right.
And you posted that, you lose up to 80% of your
shot efficiency under stress.
Yeah. And he's like, well, that's because, you have more bullets in your gun, so you shoot sloppier.
Yeah. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
No, that just, yeah.
He compared it to, you give you guys that go hunting, guys that maybe hunt ducks with 3 rounds versus a single shot shotgun, how the single shot shotgun is a better shot because he takes, first of all, you're comparing hunting to a life threatening situation. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're in a self-defense situation, you have enough time to actually stop and line up the perfect shot. You should have gotten the heck out of there long before you pulled the trigger.
Well, exactly. And so what I want to look at is, I want to explain in a self-defense scenario, if you're in a self-defense situation, your heart rate is going to be super elevated, even more than when you're shooting at a deer or a duck, guaranteed. Your heart rate is going to be elevated. Your body is doing crazy things because it's going through stress. So there's different things that people may experience, all of them, some of them, maybe none at all, but people can experience during a self-defense situation under stress. You have the fight, you have the flight, you have the freeze, you have the submit. Mm-hmm. You may be physically fighting some of those, the will to want to run away, the will to want to fight, the will to want to, whatever. And so you're going through all that, your heart rate's elevated, and you're pulling shots off. You're going to miss some shots. It's gonna happen. If you want, the closest you can get to that is to actually come to my range. I will put you through a bunch of push-ups, jumping jacks, burpees. We can even run around a little bit. You can run up to the firing line, grab your gun, and you can take some shots. And let's see how accurate you are. It's going to be tough. And I'm not saying I'm good at this, okay? That's not even going to fully simulate an actual self-defense scenario.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have more rounds than a 9mm and you're going to waste them because you have more rounds, that's utterly ridiculous. I don't even know. I just couldn't even respond to that hardly on Facebook. It was just, I think one of my responses was nope, nope, and more nope.
Yes, yeah.
Because he just went on and on and on. But I don't know. The people you find. Anyhow, I guess we each have a right to our own opinion. I wish you would have called in. Would never degrade. Well, it depends. But I don't think I'd ever degrade anybody on the podcast. But, call in, defend yourself. I mean, I guess we all have the right to our opinions. And
have an intelligent discussion about it.
Yeah.
And,
makes for a good podcast as well.
I'm sorry. Every time you talk about fight or flight, I just remember that guy at the alligator farm.
Okay, I'll tell that story. So there was a husband and a wife showed up about 3 or 4 years ago or something, and they took my class. And they showed up and they were taking the class with their 3 adult children. And we were talking about the different reactions that you can demonstrate, that you can show during a stressful situation. One of them was flight, and how some people just run away at danger. This guy raised his hand because his kids were prodding him and they were making fun of him, and he raised his hand and he said he had a story that he wanted to tell. And there was a place down here over in Buell, if you're not familiar with it, most people aren't, I guess, if you're not from around here, where you can go and you can see the alligators on this alligator farm. You can go up to the chain link and look at the alligators. This guy said his kids were really small. One was a baby, so she was still in the stroller, and one was 4 and one was 6, so pretty young little kids.
Yeah.
Really hot day. They showed up to go see the alligators. They went down there, got the kids in the stroller and unloaded, and they all walked up to the chain link fence, and they're standing there gripping the chain link fence. They're looking at the alligators. There was one they didn't see in the brush right there, and it came running out of the brush really. Those alligators can move fast if they want.
Yeah.
And slammed into the fence right in front of him. The guy said the next thing he knew, he was back at the car. He turned, and he doesn't remember anything in between. He turned around to see his wife pushing the stroller, dragging the kids, looking pretty pissed off at him. And said, "Do you realize what you just did? You turned around, you pushed the kids out of the way, and you bolted back to the car as fast as you could like a big freaking pansy." Okay? So the guy says that he likes to think that he's changed, but he swears up and down he doesn't remember any of that. That was just the reaction that he had. That's not the reaction you want necessarily, okay?
Yeah.
Anyhow, just a funny story that I tell, one that actually took place. Pretty entertaining. Usually most of the class cracks up when I tell them this. The stories I've heard, the stuff I've seen in this class, it would just absolutely blow your mind. I mean, it really would. So, that was a good one. So, I'm going to go and pull up the phone here.
Okay.
I think we had some, let me look here. There's something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, I got something I want to talk about. So, I'm not going to name names by any means because I don't need to be getting pulled over and given a ticket or anything. My wife, place where my wife works, okay? There's other people in the area that do the same type of thing that I do. Some of them happen to be law enforcement officers. Okay, the place where my wife works deals with law enforcement officers from time to time. And there's this one that comes in to where she works and knows who she is and likes to, doesn't really harass her, but likes to question her quite a bit about me, about Patriot Defense, about the classes that I teach, about how many people are attending my classes, about how much I charge for my classes, about how busy I am or maybe how busy I'm not, and just likes to just try to milk her for every ounce of information that, he can get. And I've instructed her, and she won't anyway, to not give him any information whatsoever. But I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Well, if he'd just look at your Facebook page, he'd have all the answers.
All the information he wants is on my Facebook page. I do a radio show. I do a freaking podcast. I mean, pose like you're someone you're not and shoot me a message or a text message, and I'll probably answer every one of your freaking questions.
Yeah. Leave
my wife alone. I mean, here's the thing. Get out and earn it. If you are a law enforcement officer, okay, I won't say credibility. I'm not going to go with the word credibility, but you could teach the class without getting a law enforcement officer typically into the class to teach part of it. Okay, you should have a little more pull. Your business, if you focus on it, should grow by leaps and bounds past mine. I mean, it really should. You should have a little more, I guess, credibility to a certain extent. You're a law enforcement officer. People know that. Well, they're going to come to you with questions. So if you can't make it work and you have to bother my wife at work to ask questions about, snooping on my business, trying to get the inside track on what I'm doing, I must be some kind of threat. And to be honest with you, that makes me freaking happy.
Yeah, you should be. You should be proud.
I mean, I'm proud. But in all honesty, leave my wife alone. Come on, man. She'll text me, hey, so-and-so's here asking me questions again. Be honest with you, that's just sad. That is just sad. I mean, really? Anyhow, that's my rant for the day. That got on my nerves. But every couple weeks, so-and-so's here asking questions about you again. I just want to tell her, give him my number. Have him call me. I'll answer him.
Have him call the podcast.
Yeah, he should call the podcast. The last guy that got mouthy with me, obviously, he never called the podcast.
Yeah.
So Trevor says it sounds cowardly. It does sound a little cowardly to me as well. Just outright annoying is what it is.
It kind of sounds like, in grade school when you're trying to talk to someone you like, but you're talking to their friend or something, and instead of talking to them.
It really does. So anyhow, I'm not doubting the guy's skills. He does teach a couple classes, I think, and whatever. It is what it is. Do what you want to do, man. I'm not going to talk bad about you or your classes or anything, but come on. I mean, whatever. Anyhow, before I get in trouble and get pulled over for a speeding ticket every time I leave my freaking driveway, we're gonna stop that conversation.
Okay.
So, big news in the gun world. Big news in the gun world.
The PD-10 still isn't out?
Oh, that too. The PD-10 has not arrived. But another big news. Glock came out with the G45. Is everyone excited about the G45? I mean, it's pretty much the G19X, and it comes in black instead of ugly, cheap 80s Cadillac gold.
Yep.
It comes in black. There's no place to hook your keychain to. It's got front slide serrations, and that's pretty much it.
The G19X looks like a mullet on Joe Dirt.
I will say it shoots, though.
Oh,
it
yeah.
shoots well.
Yeah.
But go on.
But the G45 looks like Joe Dirt has a black mullet on.
It does. It does. It is just whatever. But you know what? Hey, I'm okay with Glocks. I have a couple of them. But I'm not going to run out and buy. Well, yeah, I'm not going to run out and buy this. I had to think about it. But there are a lot of fanboys that, Glock's either really stupid or I'm sure they're multi-million-dollar companies, so I'm sure they're a lot smarter than me. They're probably going to sell a ton of these just because it's the newest, latest, greatest thing from Glock. But I just don't think you should. If your cutting edge research on your new gun for the year involves changing the color and cutting front slide serrations on it, that's sad.
Fire your engineers.
Fire your engineers. That is sad. Unless that's just sad. Come on.
Yeah.
In fact, we were looking at this gun earlier that we had in this Glock, and I was like, how the freak do you tell if it's a Gen 3, a Gen 4, or a Gen 5? Are they up to Gen 6 yet?
No, Gen 5.
Or a Gen 5, and I had to be educated on that because I don't understand it. They all look like Glocks, right?
Yeah.
It's just absolutely ridiculous, but preach. That's right. Trevor's quite active on here tonight. Thanks, Trevor. I appreciate it.
See, and personally, I carry the G19X long slide. I carry a Glock 17.
Pretty much. It's pretty much what it is. Although there's people that I've had on the podcast that love their G19X. And I will say I did go out and shoot the G19X after the podcast one evening, or before, I think. And I tell you what, that shot really well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was me just in all my brain, whatever, but it shot well. I didn't mind it.
See, I need to shoot one.
It's that color. The color is just horrific.
Yeah.
It's just
and that's the one thing. I mean, I looked at one and I was pawing it over, and it's like, man, I that color.
Yeah.
I mean, hydro dip the thing and make it look like it's wrapped in $100 bills.
Oh, like OD green.
Yeah, OD green, or Tiffany blue would even be better.
Oh, that nasty brownish gold color is just disgusting.
It is.
So, story out of, was it Utah?
Utah, yes.
Yeah, there was some people out. There's a young boy actually.
14 years old.
He was riding down the road with his parents. Okay, and he got shot and killed. And what it was is there was some target shooters near the road somewhere. I don't know how far away they were.
Yeah, it didn't say in the article. I tried searching it too, and it really didn't delve in a whole lot more other than just what happened.
Yeah. So they were shooting. They're out target shooting, and they were using as their backdrop. They were using a grove of trees. That doesn't work. I teach that all the time in my classes. You need to obey the 4 gun safety rules. What are they? You can give me a couple of them.
All guns are always loaded.
That's right. Treat every gun like it was loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger until you are ready to fire the gun. Keep your booger hook off the bang switch. Yep. Okay? Never point the gun at anything you're not willing to kill and destroy.
And always, always know your target, what is behind and beyond it.
And that is the one that they broke. A grove of trees, a big patch of weeds, whatever it might be, is not a good backstop. A good backstop is a mound of dirt, whether that's dirt someone has brought in, or a good backstop is a hillside that you can see into so you know what's there. Obviously, yes. I mean, this was a negligent thing. It happened. I'm sure it wasn't purposeful, but it happened nonetheless. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but what a horrible, horrible thing. And then that makes everyone look bad in the long run. It makes shooters look bad in the long run. And that's what gets shooting areas shut down. Yeah, yeah. I mean, exactly. So I don't mean to keep jumping back to this, but Trevor's got a great comment on here. He says, "Oh, I'm going to lose a lot of subscribers if I read this, Trevor, but I'm going to do it anyway. Glock is the Ford Escort of the gun world. Yeah, it works just fine, but try something else." That is awesome. So the Ford Escort of the gun world. So what they did with the G45 is they pretty much got away from the Ford Escort and came out with the Mercury Lynx.
Yeah, yeah.
Same damn thing. Just a different color with a different badge on it, pretty much.
So that means like the G34 would be like the Mercor XR4 Ti.
Well, why the hell do you need a gun with a barrel that's like, how long is that thing?
5.5 inches.
Why do you need a gun with a 5.5 inch freaking barrel on it?
They build them as the practical tactical. It's like a competition shooting gun.
That is stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You don't need a handgun with a 5-inch barrel on it. It makes no sense to me.
I mean, in a major hunting caliber, something like a Magnum series gun where you can actually maybe go out and shoot a big animal.
Go out and hunt with your Glock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they finally made that 6-inch barrel 10 millimeter. I mean, that's a good idea.
10 millimeter might not be that bad of an idea. So I'm looking here. What am I looking at? What about medical malpractice death is 500 times. Let's see. Medical malpractice death happens way more than gun accident fatalities. They want to control guns. They want gun control. Guns are bad. People die from guns all the time is what they're saying. Yet medical malpractice claims way more lives every year than gun handling fatalities. That's crazy. Why aren't we trying? Shouldn't we be regulating the medical world? So if I've got a gun and I am handling it wrong and something happens and I kill someone, chances are I'm going to be prosecuted for that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. You got people at the hospital, not the local, maybe, I don't know, wherever, at hospitals all over the United States, and people die all the time from medical malpractice. I've got a buddy that they kept leaving things inside of him. Like, not just once, but like I think twice, maybe even 3 times he had to go back. They kept leaving stuff in there. Yeah, crazy story. But anyhow, people die from medical malpractice so much. But are we prosecuting these doctors? Or is it just oops, sorry?
Well, I guess that comes with, spending 8 to 12 years in college. You get a pass on that or something.
You must. I mean, we need doctor control.
We do.
We need medical malpractice doctors.
Ban mass malpractice.
I wish Dean was here because he could jump in on this. We may have to touch it because he's
only at a wedding. Why don't you call him?
Yeah, he says he's at a wedding. I'll check him out. He probably is at some other podcast somewhere.
Oh man,
Dean is cheating on us. I'm pretty sure of it.
Dean, you promiscuous podcaster.
That's right. So I'm trying to think where this was at. Concealed carrier steps in and defends a woman from a 14-year-old.
Was that that happened in a Walmart, wasn't it?
That happened in a Walmart.
Yeah.
That was down in Florida. Always with Florida.
And Walmart.
Says a teenager is in jail after attempting to rape a woman at knife point, according to the news. A 14-year-old teenager.
Man.
And they were in Walmart. And it said the kid just tried to get her to go with him out of a Walmart with a knife that he didn't even present. As you imagine, the woman screamed and a concealed carry was nearby and likely saved her life. So, 14 years old.
Dude.
14 years old. That's like me drawing a gun on my son.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, that's scary. But then again, that's why we carry firearms, right? We carry firearms because you never know when something's going to happen, when you're going to come across something.
Mm-hmm. And there's no age limit to evil.
No, there's not.
Sadly.
Yeah.
I mean, they just, over there in Nampa here just a few days ago, they had a 16-year-old kid shot and killed.
I heard it. Well, explain the story, because I think I heard it, but so much has gone on this week.
I read the story, and it's, the news up there, they'll make a big headline about something, but then they won't follow up on their coverage.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was some of the neighbors were saying it was like a kind of a rough house and so on and so forth. And apparently this, police got calls of shots fired, and they showed up on scene, and there's this 16-year-old kid laying in the street shot. And they got him in an ambulance, and he, unfortunately passed away at the hospital. So
we don't know if it's like gang violence. We don't know if it's a fight. We don't know if it's an accident. We don't know what it was.
Yeah, they just said that, it appears that the suspect is still at large. And I seem to remember we have no leads, no reason to understand what's going on. Suspect is still at large, but there's no danger to the community. And I kind of read that last part, and I kind of chuckled to myself.
There, whether or not there's a suspect at large, there's always a danger to the community.
Yeah.
Man. Carry a firearm. If you can legally do it, carry a firearm. We live in a great country where you're allowed to do that. Yes, we do have some laws imposed upon us, and they are different in the states, different states. Find a state that agrees with what you agree with, or do what you can in those states. Some people are stuck in California. They can't get out, work, family, whatever it is. Do what you can do to protect yourself. If you have the right to carry a firearm, carry a firearm. If that means you have to take a class, take a class.
Yeah.
Do it. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your rights. It's amazing. There's people we do have people that listen to this podcast from other countries. And some of those countries, they feel the same way. They maybe don't per se have a Second Amendment, but they allow their people to carry firearms. Some of them don't, or they're very regulated. There's strict gun control in those countries, but we live here where we're free, man. Carry them. I mean, there's people that would give anything to come over here and be able to do what we do. There's no reason to, unless you're just scared of a firearm, there's no reason not to take a class or not to carry one, not to exercise your rights.
Yeah.
I mean, I've went over the times that I had to actually draw my firearm, and I was going fishing with my daughter. I was taking my 4 or 5-year-old daughter fishing. I had no reason to believe that I'd have to draw my firearm. We were in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. I had no reason to believe that I'd ever have to draw my firearm. But you know what? I did, and I'm glad I had it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. I hats off to all the people that take this class, that come take this class from me. Granted, in the state of Idaho, if you are a resident of the state of Idaho and you're not leaving the state, you don't have to take a class to actually conceal carry anymore.
Yeah.
Which I agree with and I don't agree with. I agree with it because it's our right, but then again, part of me says I don't want to agree with it because I think everyone needs to take some kind of class. Maybe not a class with a test they have to pass, but they should get educated on the subject.
A degree of proficiency.
Somehow, right.
Like today to class with the gentleman that's gun kept jamming on him.
Yes.
He the first time it happened, he just kind of stopped and he froze there for a good couple 10 seconds, staring at the gun.
He didn't know what to do, did he?
Yeah, he just
and
he set it down, kind of put his hands up, and backed away from the table,
but we're learning.
Yeah.
And so I tell everyone that this class, and in fact, I came right out and told this class at the very beginning. This is a class to get you your permit, to allow you to get your permit. It is to educate you on certain things. It is to educate you on Idaho lethal force law, gun safety, how to handle your gun safely, just basic shooting fundamentals, a little bit on situational awareness, and stuff like that. And then we do the shooting portion. You're not going to leave this class being some top-ranked shooter, okay? I'm not going to fine-tune your shooting so much that you're going to leave here being the best shooter you've ever been. It's just not going to happen, not in the permit class. The permit class, and you saw it as we went down the line. You can correct people, you can show them the right way to do things, and they will do it for a few rounds, for a few shots, and then they will fall back
to their old
into
habits.
their old habits.
Yep.
It takes a lot of muscle memory, a lot of training to work past those habits, to train your muscles to do and react differently.
Yeah.
And I was kind of wondering how you would react to it a little bit, because you've got to keep everyone safe. So if it's super unsafe, you will fix it. You will fix it right now, no matter what, or that person walks. Then you got things where you try to teach them the right grip, and they use it for a little while, then they're back to their original grip. You can fight that all class. You can constantly fix your grip, fix your grip, fix your grip. But you know what? You might have 20 other students in that class, and if you focus on that one person the entire time, you don't get to watch anyone else shoot. And so there's some things you just have to let go. Everyone's going to leave that class learning something. And I'm not trying to downplay my classes. This is a permit class. This is not a training class. This is an educational class. So everyone's going to leave learning something. They're all going to leave learning Idaho lethal force laws. And when it comes to shooting, some of them are going to learn some of them are going to learn how to shoot. They're going to shoot well. They're going to remember everything. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to learn how to fine-tune their shooting. They're going to learn how to maybe squeeze the trigger properly. Some of them are going to learn a good grip. Some of them are going to learn how to manipulate their handgun safely in a safe manner. Some of them are just going to learn gun safety. And some of them are all they're going to learn is how to load their magazine. And they know how to shoot the gun. You see them shoot the gun, and they're all staying on the paper. They're not the most prettiest groups. I mean, I'm not going to let someone go if they can't even hit the freaking target. That's just not going to happen. You got to get a majority of, I mean, you're shooting at a piece of paper, whatever that is, 6x12 or
11 and a half.
11 and a half. I don't freaking know what it is, but 6x12, that's a card. I don't know how big a piece of regular printer paper. They're hitting that with most of their shots. I'm not, in these classes, I can't teach you how to shoot. I can't fine-tune it.
Yeah.
That is another class. You have to come back for more to get that.
And that's more one-on-one instruction for 99% of people.
It is. I could see you, though, watching some of those people, and you're just like, they were shooting, and you were just kind of looking at them like, look at what he's doing, Todd. And I'm looking at you going,
well, there's that one guy, and he kept grabbing that auto pistol, the revolver grip, and they just put his finger in trigger guard to catch himself. And
well, he's learning, though. So if you can get someone to the point, you show them the right way to do things, and they're starting to troubleshoot on their own, that's absolutely fantastic. And that's, I mean, that's what you want to happen. That's a sign of them learning you're teaching correctly. They're not going to leave here being 100%. And some of the stuff you're not going to get drilled into them in one class. Yeah. It's just not going to happen.
But that one lady again, that gal that's pretty new to guns.
Oh, she's fantastic.
That was watching her shoot. That was almost a textbook stance.
Do you want to know why? Because she had never really shot before, and she came in with no preconceived notions on how to do stuff. This is how my dad taught me. This is how I've been doing it for years. She was a clean, blank slate.
Yes.
And she was soaking up the information. Yep. She was soaking up the knowledge. And so she did everything that you told her to do. And I'm going to tell you right now, women are so much easier to instruct than men in classes.
Can I interject on that one?
You sure can.
Okay. So, the instructor in me, though, will tell you, women are so much easier to instruct unless it is their husband or boyfriend doing the instruction.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. So, but typically when the women come in, unless it's a family member, because then they'll just be like, I have a hard time teaching my wife anything. It's just the way it is. I've had more men call me up, say, I'm signing my wife up. I'm trying to teach her how to shoot. She won't listen to me. She's not doing it right. Good luck. Here's her name. She'll be there on this date. I get a lot of that. But women, they are so much more conscientious about what they do, and they pay attention to the little things, and they learn, and they listen, and they put everything to task. And you can almost watch them go down the checklist in their head as to what they're doing: grip, sight picture, trigger squeeze, stand. I mean, you see them. You can physically almost see them checking it off in their head.
Yeah. Guys
are pretty good. Some guys got a little bit of, I don't even like this word, a little machismo going on.
Bravado,
and I've been doing this for years, and we didn't have any of those today.
No.
Occasionally I'll get some of those that look at me like I'm nuts. So we had one guy, a while back. I don't shoot in my classes. Did you see me pick up a gun and fire it today?
No.
I don't shoot in my classes. I mean, some classes I may, but not this class. Okay, this is all about them. I'm paying attention to them. I don't even like to shoot in my other classes. And it's not because I can't shoot. Some people will say, well, we need to see the instructor shoot. It's not because I can't shoot. Trust me, I can shoot well enough. I can hold my own. I've had this one guy, and I always pick on 40 cals. 40 caliber handguns. I don't know why. I just don't like the caliber. Can I shoot it? Yes, I can shoot it. But I just don't see a sense for it. But he had this gentleman come in, and he brought in an HK. And it was an HK, I can't remember what it was. An HK that I hadn't shot before. And I kind of like HKs. And it was a 40 cal. And he knew that I was interested in this firearm. And he was shooting it, and he thought he was pretty good. And he was decent. And he's like, hey, you want me to stay after class? You can shoot this gun. I was like, yeah, sure. Let's get everyone out of here, and we'll shoot it. And my helper that day stayed, and he was going to shoot with me too. So we were shooting, and he goes, hey, you want to shoot that gun? And I was like, sure, no problem. And he brought it up, and I think he thought I was going to be horrible with it because it was a 40. I don't know what it was. And he handed it to me, showing me how it works. And whatever, I'm listening. It's his gun. I know how it works, but it's his gun. So anyhow, I picked it up, and I think I shot like a magazine with it. And I shot the center out of that target. And I handed it back, and he's standing there looking at me. I handed it back and said, man, this gun shoots great. And I said, it's a nice gun. Good choice. And he's like mumbled something like, oh, okay. And then he grabbed it, he stuffed it in his bag, and he left. And I don't know what he was expecting, but anyhow, that's kind of a tangent. I know some people wonder why I don't shoot in the class, and I just don't like to. I want to focus on you guys. I can demonstrate and show you anything that you need to know without me shooting. I don't want the class to be about me. I want it to be about my students. I want to help them shoot. So
and you don't need to shoot. I mean, if you start shooting, then people go, oh well, he's showboating. Look what he's showing off what he can do.
Yeah, and chances are, a little bit of stress with a bunch of people watching me, I'm probably going to shoot like crap, and I don't need to do that either. It's funny today because we do that, that competition at the end of the day, and people don't realize it. People that are shooting real well, and they'll like pull their shots. In fact, today we had some people that were shooting really good, and some of their shots like just totally like missed the paper.
Oh yeah. I had,
and I even looked up like, what the heck? They haven't done that all day.
Yeah, I had two people who I thought were going to be in contention.
Yeah,
and it was the gal, the lady with the 22.
Yep.
And then the gal on the end with the G19.
Yep.
And I figured, okay, it's going to be between these two because they are the tightest groups so far. They're the best here.
Yep.
And both of them, it was like, whoa.
Yeah. So what it is you get, you're up there shooting, and you got 16 other pairs of eyes, actually 18 if you count us, pairs of eyes standing there watching you, and it's like dead silent. So that's a little bit of pressure. It's very interesting how that little bit of pressure, that added little extra bit of added stress, can affect your shooting. Mm-hmm. And then you got people on Facebook who are telling me that being in a self-defense scenario, you're not going to drop your shot rate by like 80%, or it's not due to stress. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I see this in my class every weekend.
With a 2 degree of stress.
Yeah, barely any stress, but it's just enough.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. People are nuts.
On our tangent, did you notice the gentleman with the laser sight on his pistol?
That laser was...
He had that thing dialed in really well.
Dialed in. I've never seen anyone use a laser and actually hit where the laser was pointing.
Did you notice, though? I was watching him real close when I was overseeing that group shoot.
Yeah.
He was getting a laser, and then as it'd start to move, he'd slow down his trigger pull. Yeah,
he was very conscientious about what was going on. I think he used that laser as a training tool, which I think that's what lasers are great for.
That's their best use.
But he actually used it as a training tool while he was shooting.
Yeah.
he would figure out what he was doing with that firearm, and he would fix it right in the middle of it. So, yeah, good for him, man. That's great. But God, did we miss anything else? Anything? It's going to be kind of a short show today, but I tell you what, I'm getting freaking hungry. I'm hungry.
Your egg white omelet didn't quite do it for you, huh?
I'm training for some other crazy ultra marathon trail races this summer. In fact, I'm already getting kind of signed up for some, like early spring, and I got about 6 months. So I quit my other races. I know everyone knew I run these races anyhow. I'm nuts, and I got done with them for the summer, and I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. I didn't start eating crap because I really watch what I eat, but I wasn't running like I should, and I may have been letting a few handfuls of Doritos, slip past, that kind of thing. But now I'm fine-tuning myself again, and my body's saying, hey, we like those Doritos, man. And about the time I decide to kick those things out of my diet, they end up showing up at our house quite a bit.
Isn't that funny how it happens?
It is, and I need a little more support, I think. But it's
put a mousetrap in there so when you.
Yeah, well, I use it as a. I'm pretty big into, I guess, like torture, like self deprivation. So if I can look at that, I will deprive myself of those chips, and then it's like I get this sick, twisted, like I did it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I won. It's the little battles. I kind of get a kick out of that. But
I beat you, Chester Cheetah.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But anyhow, I'm training for those, so it's back to I'm going to go running in the morning again, and it's time to fine tune again. So it is what it is. Maybe I'll carry another gun with me on these races. We'll see.
Is Lizzie the trail dog all set up? Izzy.
She's not. She doesn't do the races. She just goes running. They don't allow dogs on the races. Sometimes it's all I can do to get myself drugged to the end of those. I don't have to worry. I don't need to worry about a dog. If I had the dog with me, I may not make it out. I may just hang in there and figure I at least got 1 or 2 meals with the dog. I don't have to get out quite as quick.
Hey, the dog might be looking at you for the same reasons.
I think I could take her. Why do you think when I run with her, I carry that 45? So anyhow, I think we're going to call it good for tonight. I tell you what, if you can do me, my eyes are like super old. In fact, my hearing's about shot now too. But we have a hotline. We have a podcast hotline that if you guys have a self-defense story, you got a question, you want to argue with me about something, that's fine. Call. You got 3 minutes to leave your thoughts. And if you run out of time, turn around and call back, and I'll put the 2 calls together and make one out of them. And from anyone that mouths off to me on Facebook that argues with me, unless if I want to argue back, I'm just going to give them the podcast hotline.
Yeah.
They can call in. I'll play them on the freaking podcast. Let's
nationwide.
Let's make them famous.
Yeah.
All 60 people can hear them. So if you can read off that hotline, that'd be great.
Yeah. The podcast hotline is 1-208-696-4397.
One more time.
1-208-696-4397.
Awesome. Thank you for that. The email, if you want to email, if you'd rather email, that's fine. It's patriotdefense13@yahoo.com. That's patriotdefense13@yahoo.com. You can find me on Facebook. Once again, it's really important. If you guys like these podcasts, we sure enjoy doing them. Absolutely love it. Share them with your friends. Share them with your friends. Get them to subscribe. You rate and review if you're on iTunes. I don't know if you can do that on other podcast things, but I know you can on iTunes. But it's important that you subscribe and get your friends to do the same thing. We're just easygoing. We're laid back. Mm-hmm. I'm looking to bring a little more structure to the podcast here pretty soon. It's just trying to get it to work out with everyone's schedules, and everything else is kind of a pain. But up till now, I think we've been doing a great job. We're really relaxed. We talk about whatever pops up in the news or guns or whatever.
It's fun.
I enjoy it. If someone's got suggestions on how I can make this thing better, email me, call into the hotline, whatever. I'll leave me a message on Facebook.
Call in. I've called in a few times. Look at me. I'm on the podcast
and now. You're on the freaking podcast.
Yeah.
Look at that. You're famous now.
Yeah.
You're famous. You're even on the live.
On Facebook Live.
Facebook Live too. So Glenita, wow, you have 60 listeners. Yeah. I wish I had more, but I think I have 60. I get 60 downloads. So
maybe they're playing it on their Bluetooth, so their entire workforce doesn't have to.
Here's the key. I'd love to get the listeners, but if you go on and at least hit subscribe, then when I generate a podcast, it automatically downloads. So that counts as a download. So then my downloads go up. So whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care if you listen. At least subscribe to it. That's pretty cheap, isn't it?
No.
So anyway, we hooked up a couple people today with it. I'm into the point now. If someone says, "Hey, you have a podcast?" I say, "Yeah, give me your phone," and I set their phone up on it and set it up to subscribe to it automatically. So there you go.
The sad thing was, you had two iPhone guys trying to muddle through an Android.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
If you can get me on Spotify, I can figure out how to put the podcast on there. But until then, I think that's. Oh wait a minute. You look at your new hat. Show them your hat.
Oh, yeah.
You got the hat. So this was from our contest, Crappy Carry.
Hashtag Crappy Carry.
Hashtag Crappy Carry. Hashtag
Fancy Guns.
Fancy Guns. We had to send him pictures of those two things. He had to go out and hunt them down in the wild. And I think Josh went on many adventures that irritated his wife. How did you go, really quick, how did you go about doing that?
Basically, we go to Walmart, go to Wincom. I mean, we're up there in the Boise area. So there's, tons of opportunities.
Right.
So I just kind of sit around and basically if I saw someone open carrying, I'd kind of get my phone out and I'd get the camera set up and just kind of follow them until I could see, what they had on them or what was. I mean, there was one dude that I followed through Wincom. I thought I was maybe a creeper or something. But then I got up there and he's like, okay, dude, the guy's got a really nice like ostrich skin holster with an HK in it.
Right.
This isn't Crappy Carry. That's pretty darn cool.
That's pretty slick. The open carry thing kills me though.
It's pointless. I mean, I have a kid that I work with that just bought his first gun here a couple of weeks ago, and he's all jazzed. Oh, I'm going to go holster. I'm going to open carry because I can. And I'm like, dude, no, that's a terrible idea.
You can also conceal carry, dude.
Yeah.
If you're old enough.
Well, I want to open carry because then, people know not to mess with me. I said, or they'll walk into a situation intent on robbing the store. They see you with a gun and you catch one in the head.
Or they take your gun from you, one of the two, because there's not that many people out there that open carry that are very good at gun retention, I wouldn't think.
No. And 90% of these people open carrying that I see anyways have, like one of those cheap clip-on Uncle Mike's holsters. It's just clipped to their pocket or their belt. It's not even, belt loop's not even through the little slot.
What I like the guys that open carry and they got those big drop leg holsters. Those are freaking hilarious.
Yeah. Especially if they're wearing a 3-piece suit.
And there goes half our listeners right there. We just offended half our listeners, but
yeah, well.
Anyhow, we got to get out of here. I'm about ready to lose my voice after a day of class, and it was kind of smoky out today. My voice is shot.
Yeah, big old fire broke out. What, about 2 miles away?
Yeah, and then I think there's a fire up by Cary too. So we're not out of the fire season yet, but
not yet.
Tomorrow's supposed to be a high of like 64 degrees.
Nice.
And so I'm gonna eat dinner, go to bed, get some rest, and I think I might wake up and go running in the morning. So I typically will get this podcast edited and out in the morning. It may not get out till tomorrow evening or tomorrow afternoon sometime. Worst case, it'll be Monday, but it will show up tomorrow or Monday sometime. Sometimes I got to take care of my stuff. So we'll get it out, but thanks for joining us. And until then, we will catch you next time. Thanks for joining, Josh.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And bye.
Bye.